Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor. This week's show, we're going to preview the best of the action from Cheltenham, as well as a stellar all-weather card up at Newcastle, all races live on Sky Sports Racing. Being joined by two very Cheltenham-donned, tired men in here. Deco, very smart, you're off to Cheltenham yourself.
Yeah, off to Cheltenham today. I've got a couple of mates who've got a horse running in the first race, Clonbury. We call him Clonbury Lad because he's one of the lads, but he's running for JP Dempsey. It's the lad's first runner at Cheltenham, and they're absolutely buzzing. And they said, "Am I coming?" And I said, "I will now." So good luck to the lads. I hope he runs well for you. He's in good form, and yeah, he'd be going well, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully so. Anyway, I don't know what price he is currently then. Do you know for today?
I think he's 25 to 1.
Is
yeah,
he?
He did run well last
price.
time out at Clonmel. He was second over fences, back to hurdles today, but he'll enjoy the ground. And I've got some good videos of him. He seems like he's really settled into Cheltenham well. So hopefully he'll run well and give the lads something to shout and roar about.
So hopefully, if he wins at that price, it's going to be a bigger price than the November handicap winner that you tipped up last week as well. So
yes.
Very well done on that front.
Yeah, just I'm just sad the flat season's over, just because it means Rafe Beckett's not going to have any more runners. Just topped off a great year for him. He's been unbelievable. And yeah, thankfully, Lord Melbourne did a turn last week. So yeah, it's been a strong end to the flat seas, but we roll on to the jumps.
And it's been a strong end to the flat season for you too, Sam. A strange last week. I mean, you almost got off the mark with Soul Icon for the jump season. Sickening to remind you, but well done with the Strange all the same.
Yeah, thank you. I another one clinging on to the flat season. But we've got to get stuck into this jump season. It's great. Yeah, Soul Icon. I've deserved win, forget my nap, just a brave performance of horses like that. That's why I love jumps racing, and fingers crossed we'll see some great performances this weekend.
Yes, again, I can't believe how well dressed you two are for Cheltenham for this. I feel very kind of left out.
Don't make us get the fashion segment going again.
Again, I know, it's what people have been crying out for this whole time as well. Right, before we get down that rabbit hole, a reminder as ever to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, we're going to begin at Cheltenham with the 220. This is a Paddy Power Gold Cup handicap chase, Premier handicap chase, 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 4. Ginny's Destiny, pretty short at the head of the market here, Sam, at 11 to 4.
Yeah, correct, Kate, and that's why I want to try and take this favourite on. I've got huge respect for Paul Nicholls' horse, but I do have some concerns that 11 to 4 is just too skinny for me. I'd say it's a good renewal of this race, maybe not the best we've ever seen, but I think there's enough depth in here that you can really try and find something to get the better of the favourite. Imagine for me, I would have definitely been keener on Harry Derham's horse had the ground been that little bit softer. Does go very well fresh, and Harry's having a fantastic start to life this season. So he was on my shortlist, but I came down on the side of Garlaw, an old friend of mine. Been lucky enough to see this horse up close and personal. And we've got a good piece of form to show you, which is his seasonal return at Chepstow, where he ends up second, El Redoto in the race in 5th. The thing I like about this, I think we're taking it from about 4 out. This will be, to my eye, one of the best times I've seen him jumping well. Yeah. It's been the one sticking point with him. He's definitely got an absolute engine, a good heart as well, and a turn of foot when he needs it. But his jumping this day was probably, I felt, one of the more polished efforts. And it's been his Achilles heel in the past. He came down in the Sky Bet at Doncaster a few years ago with, I thought, a really good chance of winning that race. He arrives here with the stable absolutely flying. They're bang in form. It's going to be difficult off that mark of 155, but Protectorat in there at the head of the weights is a really, really handy feature for him because he runs here off 11.2. And what did he win it off? 11 stone previous in the past. And listen, I think he's definitely improved. He's 8 now. I really, really hope he can go very, very well. He holds a dear place in my heart, having seen him, you know, throughout the winter and things in the last couple of years where we sponsored Jamie. But he comes in here, he's a 13 to 2 shot. I just thought that was an absolute steal each way up against the favourite who, you know, let's be fair, is a very good horse, but I just felt it was too short.
Every horse has its price, and 11 to 4 about Ginny's Destiny, I agree, I do think is just that bit too short rather than Garlaw, a winner of this race 2 years ago, Dec.
Yeah, he did. I think he won it off 142. And now he's running off 155. So in terms of weights and measures, he's got to improve. But as Sam says, you know, Protectorat being in here really just kind of puts him in at a nice racing weight, as they say, although I hate that phrase. And,
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, what is a nice racing weight?
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, is it 10 stone? Is it 11 stone? But anyway, I went there and I shouldn't have. But We have had winners of this race rated 156. I think Tack and Desai won off. Stage Star won last year off 155, and I think Alpha Ruff, going back a little bit further back, he won off 159. So 155, I think, is still workable for Gallo. And I love this comeback at Chepstow. I think Sam's hit the nail on the head with his jumping. He had his own way of jumping a little bit. He could nod on landing and he could make a poor shape, but I do think it's coming together for him. And you know, I'm going to mention it now because Sam forgot to. You know, he's trained by Bet Victor brand ambassador Jamie Snowden, who is operating currently at a 38% strike rate. We know the horse is going to love the good ground. His jumping's getting better. If Gavin can just get a little bit of luck early, put him in a good prominent position, because I like a prominent racer in this race. Yeah. Find a little bit of daylight, a little bit of room. I think he will run well. I think with the ground coming up around the good, he's a rock solid each way bet. For all, I do respect the Nichols pair of Il Re Doto and Ginny's Destiny. Ginny's Destiny, though, is quite a big and stuffy horse, and I wouldn't be surprised if he needed the race. And I have a lot of respect given the weights with Freddie Ginger's £3 claim for Il Re Doto. But I thought Gallo was rock solid, and he's a rock solid each way play from moi.
We're on a highway to nothing in this one, because all three of us then with Garlaw in here. Lovely amount of Bet Victor sponsorship all over those photos as well. I mean, the guys have done a stellar job by putting that compilation together. But yeah, Garlaw for me too. And again, I hope that you were going to come down on the side of him running the trends against this race, because I did likewise then clearly here as well. Trying to regain his crown from 2022. But if anything, he probably ticks more boxes this time around than he did back then even, because now he's in the ideal age range of 7, 8 or 9-year-old. Ideal rating band is 142 to 147. But as you've both said, given Protectorat, though, is in here pushing plenty of these out of the weights, it's given Garlaw a nice racing weight of 11 stone 2. And as you say, he is ridden prominently. This race does favour horses who are ridden on the front end with that style. And also coming into this race on the back of one start, which Sam, you teed up for us at Chepstow there, is another positive. So that second, solid run from him. Ideally, you wanted that race to come 3 weeks ago, but he's had more of a freshen up since then, which I'd rather that way around than a shorter time between those two. So yeah, again, Garlaw ticking all of the boxes. So 13 to 2.
I think we did like a 6-runner Group 3 on the flat about 3 weeks ago, and we all came down on 3 different horses. And now we've like a 50 runner handicap, and we're all with the Garlaw.
From memory, we're at 50% strike rate when we all agree. So we need Garlaw to go in on that strike rate.
I'm not going to question that stat.
And Bet Victor 4 places?
Yep, 4 places on the race.
Who's the Bet Victor man?
I know, exactly.
Yeah. You lost my job.
I hope Michael Tabor's not watching.
He can have it at this race. Teeing it up all beautifully. Right, Garlaw then for all three of us in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. Do let us know who you fancy for that super competitive handicap chase in the comments section below. Right, the 255 now at Cheltenham. Handicap hurdle, 4-year odds and over 3 miles. Doyen Quest, the favourite for Harry and Dan Skelton, Sam.
Yes, really nice horse. Again, I can understand why the market's made the horse 11 to 4. Met the owners, actually. We won a couple of our sponsored races last year. It's a really nice story. It's a family now that are running the horse in the dad's colours, effectively. He left it in trust to them. And, you know, deservedly favourite. Dan Skelton really has targeted this early part of the season very well with finding valuable races and picking up prize money left, right and centre. So plenty of respect. But again, it comes down on price. And there were 2 that I liked here. One has a more solid profile, which was Noble Birth. Will absolutely relish the ground. Gavin Cromwell, his Raiders always deserve respect when they come over here. I think the mark looks fair, back on better ground. Did have an experience of Cheltenham at the festival, just didn't manage to run that well that day. But I think that was on softer ground. But the one I'm going to go for is a little bit more speculative. It's Thanks for the Help of the David Pipe team. Now, this meeting always used to be associated with Pipe winners. He's an interesting character, this horse. I think profile-wise, he's still quite unexposed for his age, but he's clearly had an issue or two. Let's not forget, you go back to March 23, sent off the 100 to 30 favourite for the Temps. I mean, clearly there was a very good horse there. If you go back to the run before that, which qualified him for the Temps, that was a mightily impressive effort at Chepstow, where he probably needed to win well to not only qualify, but also go up enough. And I think the mark now is really, really tempting for this horse. Had a pipe opener at Utoxeter, which he's entitled to have needed. I'm not necessarily suggesting this is the same horse that went off favourite for the Temps, but he doesn't need to be, because I think there's enough leniency in his mark. I think the team are in really good form at Pond House at the moment, so there was plenty for me to like. He's 9 to 1 at the moment. I almost want to see that price start to slide Saturday morning. It will make me more confident, but I kind of just felt like the stars were aligning, and I wanted to be with him. Cheek pieces going back on as well. Good ground. I would like to have seen it ease to good to soft personally, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily going to make his task any harder. He's just not run on it. So yeah, thanks for the help. Fingers crossed can help me get back into profit.
9-1 shot in here as well, but like you say, you'll be further buoyed than if that price starts to contract towards the off then. So 9-1 shot for Sam Dack. You in agreement again?
No, not in agreement this time.
Didn't last long.
Yeah, interesting race. I think Diane Quest has his first run over 3 miles, and he's got quite a bit of pace, this lad. You know, I think he'll travel into the race really well, but you could definitely make the case he's a suspect stayer over the trip. We don't know. Email Andy's having his first run of the season for the Paul Nicholls team, who looks like their horse have just been needing a run. Gowroad I have a lot of respect for at the top of the market, but a horse who finished behind Gowroad last time out is Hardy Boy. He's not even on that graphic there, and I just do not get why he's such a big price. Now, he's got a £4 turnaround, good old Hardy Boy here, when he ran behind him at Cheltenham last time out, but the race at Cheltenham just felt so much better for Gowroad on the day. Sam Twiston-Davies got down on the paint, got down on that fresh ground, and just controlled the race on the front end. On the other hand, Ben Jones was much wider throughout the race on Hardy Boy. He also lost his place, raced a little bit lazy going out on the final circuit, and he just kind of, you know, he lost his pace, and the pace on this final circuit was steadying him more than anything, and then he made a bit of a big race move, was banging contention 2 out, and maybe just a little bit kind of outpaced and a little bit outstayed. But on the £4 turnaround, if he gets a better trip than Gowroad this time, I could see him getting a lot closer to him, especially at the prices. The Ben Pauling team, again, have started the season really well, and he's in good order now. He has been busy. He's had plenty of runs over the summer, so he's probably due maybe a below par effort, but the run last time out at Cheltenham still suggested he was in good form. The stable are in good order, and he's a solid each way bet, or maybe a place only bet at a big price.
16-1.
There we go.
Place only is what I was going to ask you, because he doesn't really live up to his name.
Yeah, no, exactly. He doesn't. He'd probably be a little bit of a disappointing winner, but I could easily see him finishing in the 3 or the 4, that kind of way. Yeah. So that's why I'm just kind of putting that option out there for viewers if they didn't fancy him each way. Yeah,
I was literally going to ask you that. I was going to pick you up on it, that if you went each way, do you feel like you're chucking away the win part of the bet?
Yeah, you kind of do with him, but I think it's more the each way side of the bet that's the value, because it's not a great race, but at the same time, I have a lot of respect for Gowroad at the top of the race, at the top of the handicap and at the top of the betting, because I do think that race at Cheltenham last time out was a very good race on the clock for the distance.
But 16-1 then about Hardy Boy in here as well. So, yeah, definitely got the ability, and his handicap's enough to go well, just whether or not he wants to, basically. I say that. I can't throw too many stones because of my selection in this race. Deep Cave, the complete outsider of the field, way in the bar.
I saw this when you put it through. I was like, oh, I'm really interested to hear this case.
How is she going to claw this one back? How is she going to make a case here? It takes a lot. Now, again, I have been running trends for all of our Cheltenham races this weekend, and he, believe it or not, was the one who came down ticking the most boxes. This just looks a good opportunity for him. If he isn't able to run up to his mark, he'll get dropped a few pounds, but hopefully today is the day that we can still see some of the best in him. But as I say, he's only had the one start so far for Christian Williams. We're looking back at when he was trained in France previously. Now, on his sole start for Christian Williams, he was 50-1, finished down the field. Now, that was at the October meeting. That was in a race won by Why Not, who I may or may not fancy for another Cheltenham race on Saturday. But that was just kind of a nothingy effort really from him, and it was likely to be the case. He was so weak in the market for that, so of course I'm going to be mindful of that market weakness again for him here. But previous to that, as we were just seeing there, he was based in France. That was his penultimate success we were just looking back on in September of last year at Compiègne. Conditions chase. Now that was on his stable debut. And he's won since in his final French start at Clairefontaine before joining this yard. Previously, though, he was with Henry de Bromhead, if you can cast your mind all the way back to then. He was 5th behind Goodland at the DRF in 2023, 4th behind Nick Rocket in a Grade 2. So he has the ability. Mark should underestimate him on that novice form of 130. Perhaps he's one to keep an eye on for down the line. He's 66-1 at the time of recording. maybe
I
just
like
watch
it,
that.
Kate.
Well, if you back that each way and he runs into the 3, it's a cracking bet.
Yeah, like you say, it might be one for down the line, but I just thought keep an eye out for him in a wide open race that, like you say, isn't the strongest of which, then he's definitely got the ability to be featuring. So deep K for me. Right, we've all disagreed though, Dak, just as a reminder.
Hardy boy for me, please.
Sam?
Thanks for the help.
Okay, right, so the agreement didn't last long for us. Again, do let us know who you fancy for that contest in the comments section below. Now, before we move on to our next race, a reminder as ever to subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, we are switching codes now. We're heading to the all-weather, to the flat, up to Newcastle, live on Sky Sports Racing, the 3:48, the listed Golden Rose Stakes, 3-year-olds and over 6 furlongs. Anaf is the 11-4 favourite in this one, Dex. So who do you like?
Yeah, I'm with Wiltshire again. I actually put him up last time out as my long shot when he ran in the Ben Goff Stakes, and he was well back that day. And pre-race, I was licking my lips. But unfortunately, the race didn't pan out well for him. There was no speed on, and he was just too keen. I think he had run at Haydock in his previous run over 5 furlongs, and I just wonder the combination of no speed on going back up to 6 furlongs, did that 5 furlong run really just light him up mentally? There's going to be way more pace on in the race this day. I think Orne is going to go forward from a low draw, and Night Raider's a favourite. He likes to get on with things as well. So I think the race will set up really well for him. This is him winning for the William Haggis team at the start of the season in the pink jacket here under Tom Marquand. But you know what? This is on turf, as you can see. There's green grass there. But this lad is actually unbeaten on the all-weather. He's had 3 runs on the all-weather, and he's won all 3 starts, including a race here at Newcastle. So, you know, he's going, he needs to bounce back, but the Haggis team are still in great order. Jason Hart is an interesting jockey booking because William Haggis has got 2 in the race. He's also got the filly Pink Crystal, who's going to be ridden by Adam Farragher, who is associated with the stable, and I just would have assumed had first choice. So hopefully there's not anything negative to read into there, but Jason Hart is probably one of the most underrated jockeys on the flat in the country for me, and he's not going to, Wiltshire will not lack anything in the saddle with that guy there. So yeah, I think the race is going to set up well for him. He's going to get some pace to run. He's got course form. He's got William Haggis. He's got Jason Hart. He's got my money. Take it away.
Tick, 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 tick. Yeah. There you go. Perfectly done. 11-2 about Wiltshire in here, and with that all-weather record to his name as well. That's something, Sam, that we're going to be looking at across all of these.
Yeah, Dec has basically said everything I could possibly
I'd say he hasn't left one single box for you here, which
very
is...
much
I forgot you were with him as well.
Yeah, I mean, the all-weather record was the first thing that stood out for me. Definitely feels like the surface will suit. Watching the horse here, this was when he won at Newcastle not that too long ago, but do watch because he dwelt at the start this day, which made me sort of upgrade this performance. Perhaps isn't the best angle, but definitely gets a little bit behind and has to make up significant ground, which he ends up doing. But it's a nice performance, and it really stuck out when I was watching back through the replays as a horse that could have more to offer. More than happy to forgive that run the last day. Doesn't worry me. And just watching Kieran Fallon, who was on board this day, cut through the traffic here, I just felt there's more to come from this horse. I don't mind the draw either, Dec. I think that's the only thing you haven't touched on. Nothing to worry about there.
No, bang in the middle it should give Jason Hart loads of options to get him covered up. And you want this style at Newcastle, don't you? When there's pace on it, you want to be getting covered up. Although I did have a look at the wind. I think there's a westerly breeze at Newcastle on Saturday. I think a headwind there is usually the prevailing wind, which is... is it southwest? So,
I have no idea.
Anyway, left unturned by our weatherman.
Literally.
Well, I was top stone picker once upon a time, so there you go.
Yeah, going back to the point, Wiltshire, Dec's made a great argument. I hope I've added to it. I really thought the prices, that was kind of my... each way's a bit tight, isn't it, at that price? But I kind of wanted to try and take Anoff with something. Night Raider, for me, I was just a little bit too unkeen on for consistency purposes at 7-2.
11-2 then for the pair of you two about Wiltshire. And even if he does dwell again with the headwind that's forecast there at Newcastle on the weekend, it may not be a bad
no
thing.
headwind forecast.
No headwind forecast.
No headwind,
I thought there was a headwind
I clearly butchered
forecast.
that. Oh, yeah.
No, I just didn't pay one bit of what he said, to be honest.
She never listens to us, does she?
No, straight over my head. Hopefully there is a headwind now. Yeah. We will get someone, we'll have someone on track.
Well, a headwind will suit your boy. Closer.
Yeah, wouldn't it just? I know, exactly. Nicely teed up as well. Anaf then for me. I just thought, why complicate this race? I'm just going to go with the class act in the field. Now, Anaf has been a little bit of a nuisance to everyone at some point in his career, hasn't he? But he is still a talented horse when things fall right for him. And it is just mainly that, isn't it? He just needs things to fall right for him. And he is a keen goer. He tanks his way through his races. Now, we're looking back at him on his most recent start. This was when he was 9th in the Champions Sprint at Ascot in the middle of October, and he travelled through this race so well, and of course in Group 1 company as well. He always travels well, but he just weakened out of things inside the final 1 furlong over the stiff 6 furlongs. Now, I know that Newcastle is a stiff 6 furlongs as well, but he was bogged down by the ground on this occasion. I just really like the way that he travelled through it, though. He should be more than good enough as the top rated in here to win on the all-weather, for which he's 5 from 11 on, 2 of those onto Peter at this track as well. So I just thought, yep, why complicate it? This is his time of year. We saw him signing off last season with back-to-back wins at this time of year, posting his 2 best efforts of the campaign in the process. So
you love Anaf. We're going to have to get you some Anaf pyjamas.
I know.
I think is this the 3rd time he's run this season? I'm sure you've put him on there.
It has been, it's been a lot and not much success either. I know, that's it. No, we've got one mascot for this week's show, though. It's your horse.
We do, Clonbury Lad. I keep calling him Clonbury Lad. That's not even the horse's name.
It's not even saying, you don't even know your own horse.
I know, yeah. That's because all the boys, anytime he's running, Lad is running again, Lad.
The Lad. OK, right then. So, well, Anaf, if he goes and wins, he can be next week's mascot. For now, though, it's Dexhorse, whatever he's called. Right, though, for now, for us three, we're going to head over to the sofa to give you our preview of the Greatwood Hurdle at Cheltenham on Sunday, as well as our best bets for this weekend. Now, Sunday's feature contest at Cheltenham is, of course, the Greatwood Hurdle. So we're going to get stuck into this. Now, we are doing this, lads, just before Dex. But, Sam, we've got a pretty good idea as it currently stands. So who do you like?
Yeah, well, good news is mine's jocked up and Harry Cobden's on board Burdett Road, which I am delighted about. This horse, we know plenty about him, don't we? We've seen him a lot on the flat. Last seen at Ascot behind Kyprios, and that was a brilliant run. Ends up, I think, 6th that day, outrunning his price of 40-1. And listen, I know it's a little bit tricky sometimes to translate flat form into hurdles, but he's definitely, ended up rated 109 on the flat. We've seen him a couple of times over hurdles, including a win on the old track at Cheltenham when he was sent off 9-4 favourite that day. He's a really, really exciting prospect at this kind of level. Now, 4-year-olds in this race, I do think if you go back to 10-year trends, you won't be too put off. I appreciate sometimes those age stats can be against them. I love the fact that he's going to arrive here fit, healthy, and be absolutely fine on the ground. The favourite, Dysart Inos, I'd just be a bit concerned that this is first time out off a significant break. I know Fergal, like many trainers, can get them ready at home, might have had a racecourse gallop somewhere or something, but it just puts me off a little bit, the fact that you're up against hardened, ready-to-go animals. And Burdett Road for me at 5-1 I thought was a really good bet. Can't see the horse out the frame. Looking forward to seeing how the Gredley's horse gets on. And isn't it great to see these decent flat horses over jumps, because it's so rare these days.
To be fair to the Gredleys, they are putting a lot of good flat horses over hurdles and fences as well. Good old All Mankind, that tearaway, he was good as well. So, good on them. They're supporting both codes very well, and more luck to them.
It's a big weekend for them. East India Dock as well that they've got running. So, yeah, I definitely think we'll see more of those yellow silks over jumps, and long may it continue. Burdett Road for me.
Now, I can't take any credit for this because our producer, Ben, has told me that Detroit City did win this race as a 4-year-old.
Brampool, maybe, for Paul Nichols as well.
What age was he?
4, I think.
Was he 4 for this as well?
Was he ridden by Harry Derham?
In 2011. Again, I'm getting at all then. And another horse in 2015 whose name I haven't caught there whatsoever. Old Guard.
Yeah, Old Guard. Paul Nichols.
Yeah. I forget about that one completely. But Detroit City, I mean, Philip Hobbs has got a cracking record in this race. Rooster Booster, Menorah as well. So, and Sizing Europe is also on the roll of honour for the Greatwood handicap hurdle as well. So 4-year-olds, not to put you off whatsoever then on that basis. Deck, how old is your horse?
I don't think we're going to have the likes of a Sizing Europe or a Menorah in it this year. It looked a poor renewal. I think Lump Sum I was originally with, I think was officially rated 141, but he's not going to run now, so hope everything is okay with him. So I had to recalibrate, and I actually came down on a 4-year-old Royal Way for the Gary and Josh Moore team. He's got similar form lines with Liari with that run behind Gimme 5 last time out. He was really unlucky with Butler Seekett jumping across him. I think it was at the last at Cheltenham last time out, and he lost an awful lot of momentum, but he looked like he needed the race and he was running on well late. If he sharpens up, he'll have no problem on better ground. So
you two have the main place with a couple of 4-year-olds in here that are hoping to be battle hardened. Mine is 5 years old, but very, very unexposed.
Tracey's trend, in it.
Yeah.
Exactly, it is. It literally is. Again, this is yet another race and that I had to do it, but I had a million horses to go out because we didn't have declarations. Be aware, I'm so pleased he's jocked up though for us, so hopefully we get to see him really unexposed horse. Just 4 career starts to his name, so he is a year older than both of yours, but he is very inexperienced though. But he was a winner on debut. Now that was in a Newbury maiden hurdle, which we're looking at here now, before bettering his form on each of his subsequent runs. Now, I really like this day because he was fairly friendless in the market at 11-1. Considering he was a brother for the same connections, the very useful performer lacked a constance, where he just bided his time, but he came through strongly in the last 2 furlongs to win well, and getting better and better the further he went over the 2 miles on this occasion. And it was said after this day that he would aim for the Grade 1 at Aintree in April, with this run coming at the end of January. Subsequently second under a penalty in another novice, then second in another novices hurdle at Kempton, which was an even better effort again, before he ran a mighty race on handicap debut. Now he finished second again, but that was in the super competitive novices championship final handicap hurdle, beaten just half length behind Hellwine. So he wasn't aided that day by his running style. Running style should be suited far more to this test. £6 rise, and I just thought he'd be a different proposition this time around. So I really like Be Aware, and of course for that yard, who can just do no wrong in handicap hurdles either. So Be Aware for me. Again, more disagreement for us, and we're definitely going to have some disagreement in our best bets as well. Now, the Bet Victor traders will be boosting our naps again this weekend, so head to the website or use the QR code in screen to take advantage of those boosts. Depp, who are napping for you?
Yeah, before I get into the naps there, I'm going to mention the horse Clonbury Bridge is the horse's real name. Now,
we got his name.
He's going to be a mascot for the show this week.
He wins, he can be. Yeah, 25 to 1 day.
It could be a theme going forward. We accept all major credit cards, Bitcoin. For mentioning, the lads are going to buy me a few points today, so that's why he's just got so many mentions. But
even if we butchered his name, loads of mentions for some horse that doesn't exist.
We got there eventually, Clonbury Bridge. So good luck to the boys. But on to the serious stuff now. The best bets of the weekend. I've got to be honest. I really struggle to be really keen on anything this week. It still feels like I'm a little bit weak behind on form with jumps racing. You know, there's still so many horses running at Cheltenham this week that are making their seasonal debut. So hopefully the form book will start to get a bit better and stronger for me as we go on. But the nap and the next best we have already discussed. And the nap, ironically, is going to be on the flat this week. Is going to be Wilshire. I just think the race sets up really well for him. Lots of pace, which he needs. He's unbeaten on the all-weather. He's a hold-up horse, really suited to this track at Newcastle. So I'm hoping he will go well in a first-time tongue-tie under Jason Hart. The next best is Gallo. Now, I think he's a really solid each-way bet, with Bet Victor paying 4 places in the Paddy Power. His jumping is coming together. Protectorat's given him a nice racing weight, and he just looked in really good order when he ran at Chepstow, and I expect him to take a little jump forward for that with the Jamie Snowden team in good order. And I'm going to have 2 darts at the Paddy Power because just on my own figures and ratings, I think Madara, with Tristan Durrell taking £3 off his back, is definitely handicapped to win this race. Now, he can be a little bit behind the bridle, so I hope he doesn't get too far out of his ground early. But when he's on it, he's a good jumper and he travels well, as we saw when he bolted up at Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival last year. Gone on a couple of journeys since then. He's left the Leeches, and then he went to Kieran Burke's, and now he's with Dan Skelton, so we'll see how that plays out. But if he's in good order, I thought he could run a big race at a big price.
I really like that horse. He's still so young as well, isn't he, Madara?
Yeah,
he's done the merry-go-round of trainers of late, but at least he's got the mental concentration.
I'm hoping it's all just been a massive ploy and he's just going to be a massive gamble. Go off 5-1 and bolt up. That'd be lovely.
From 20s into 5s, yeah, we shall see. And you tipped him up then for the long shot, so joke will be on you at that point. Sam?
Yes, I agree with Deck's sentiments in terms of the jumpers. It is quite hard to find like a best bet, given a few of them haven't had their runs. But one that has is my nap, which is Loda Sud for the Skelton team. We've spoken a lot about the Skeltons, but this is, for me, one of the most exciting horses you'll see out this weekend. I like the fact there was a little bit of a fiddly error in the Stratford run, because I think you'll learn from it, and that's what you're going to need, bringing a bit of experience around here. I know the fences at Cheltenham might not be what they were those years ago, but they'll still take some jumping. I just think you've got to look away in there to kind of make the market, and I do respect that horse, but I just think this is, you go back through his handicap hurdle form, he was a very, very good hurdler. I think he's going to be an even better chaser as well. Dex touched a lot on Wiltshire, but that all-weather record for me really stands out, my next best there. 3 from 3. Fingers crossed can ping the lids this time, because I think he will need to, better than he did at Newcastle back earlier on in the summer. But the record on the artificial surface is there for all to see. William Haggis absolutely flying at the moment. My final selection this week is going to be, I wanted a long shot in the Paddy Power because of the fact that there was the additional place on there. And who better than to land on Gavin Cromwell, who certainly can land 1 or 2 of these Cheltenham runners, can't he? His record there is fantastic. And it's a really curious horse, because didn't seem to stay in the Irish National last time out over the marathon trip of 3.5. I do think the drop back in trip is excellent, has gone well on return to action previously in the past, so first time out doesn't bother me, and looks really ground versatile. Actually, his point-to-point came on good ground, and he won a maiden hurdle at Wexford on good ground in a sort of summery time of year. So for me, I thought he just ticked plenty of boxes, and he's right down at the foot of the weights, but could definitely be there or thereabouts for a place, and maybe just upset a few.
That is the race, though, isn't it, to have the big long shots, and both of you two have gone for a horse and for a long shot in that contest as well. So again, we will be boosting your NAP, which will be nice as well, just to boost up price, because he has shortened. I
want to get it the other side of evens, fingers crossed. So do check out the boost.
That's one of the best parts of having the NAP on here, is that we get the boost, don't we? So like say, don't let it put you off of those kind of prices that are contracting, because we can boost them.
Hopefully a little bit of value for viewers.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully that, and hopefully we will also get that with my NAP, because that is going to be Dubai Honour. Now, this is a race that we haven't actually spoken about on today's show. This is for the listed Churchill Stakes over 10 furlongs. Now, this horse runs for William Haggis, and hopefully will give him yet another listed all-weather success this week, winning the River Eden with Sea Theme, the Fleur de Lis with Doom, so the yard are in great form, picking up these end of the season listed all-weather prizes, and I think this will be another one for Dubai Honour this time around. Top rated in the race by quite some way. Giving £7 to his rivals, yes, but he should still be a level above his rivals even with that, and he ran a cracker last time out, finishing second in a Group 1 at Baden-Baden. So this should be pretty straightforward enough for him in comparison. Again, we will be boosting that. Why not? I did slightly tee her up earlier on in the 0 to 140 intermediate handicap hurdle at Cheltenham over 2 mile 5. Again, trends weekend for me. So I've got this race backdated for 6 years. So bidding to put those trends to use for the 7th year now. One who ticks the most boxes is Why Not. Now, I am concerned if she adopts her usual front-running tactics that saw her to success at this track last time out. But I mean, I wouldn't blame Connections for sticking to those, but this race does tend to go to horses ridden with restraint. But I still think this mare remains well treated, course form, coming here in good form, and conditioning from one run. And my long shot then, Deep Cave in the 3 mile handicap hurdle, 66 to 1. And as I was saying earlier on, this might not be his day. It is a tough spot for him, but I still think this horse is well enough handicapped on his previous top Irish novice form and his French form as well. 1 start so far for this yard, came at this track. He might just be teed up then to run a big race then at a big price.
We'll be digging you out of a deep cave if that goes in.
Imagine, you'll never see me again anyway if Deep Cave manages to go in. Right, that is everything from us on this week's show. Again, do head to the website or the QR code to take advantage of our naps being boosted. But lads, thank you so much for your hard work. As per usual, Deck, best of luck with whatever horse you own.
Clonbree Bridge. Well, I don't know, but maybe I do for the day, yeah.
You do for the day. He has been the official mascot for this week's show. So best of luck to you all the same. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend. We'll be back at the same time next Friday to preview the best of the action from Ascot and Haydock.